Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Brad.
Yes.
Brad.
What?
Is one of your legs longer than the other?
It very well could be.
All right, well, this is a question we quite often get from people, and you know, it can cause a problem.
Right.
If you have one leg longer than the other, eventually it could kind of put stress on your sacroiliac joint, your SI, which is your low back, or your back itself.
Sure.
So if you're getting some pain and they find out you have one leg longer than the other, you may want to correct it.
Sure.
So we're going to show you just a simple test to figure out whether or not one leg is longer than the other.
Did we want to mention now, like after a hip replacement
Yes,
or
very
fractured
good.
hip,
Yes.
that can be one problem where you never had a problem with your leg length. You go through the surgery, and next thing you know, you're walking, and every time you go, it looks like you're going over a hump on that one leg.
Or after a knee replacement. Although I'm going to warn you, a lot of times people think they feel longer after a surgery like that, and we measure, a lot of times they're the same.
Right.
It just feels longer.
Yeah.
So beyond the obvious fact where, like if you look at somebody, Brad, and their belt is kind of tilted like this,
Right.
meaning that one leg might be longer, or if they're wearing shorts and you look at the creases in their knees and one's higher than the other. Beyond that, really one of the best tests you can do without using expensive equipment like x-rays or something like that is just to measure where the pelvis is at. Brad, so if we're looking at Napoleon here, bone apart, ha ha ha. All right, we look at the top of the pelvic crest here, the iliac crest. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take you want to take your fingers and you're going to dig in on your body, and you're going to have them like this, and you can see these two are level. All right, so that's what you want to see, is that if one is higher than the other, that leg is longer than the other.
Right.
So, yes, if we're standing here, Brad, and you stick your hands in to the adipose, which is fat on some people, and you level out like this, you're going to see if one hand is higher than the other.
Right.
Why don't we do it on you, and let's actually make it higher.
Now, I know what some people are going to write in and say, you know, you can do this, but they might have a hip problem, or the SI joint might be anteriorly rotated. Right. So there are, you know, this is not...
You're absolutely right. They could have something that made it higher on that side.
Okay.
So, why don't you step on that side, Brad?
All right, so I'm going to put that, you want me to, we'll exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you put your hands in there once, and stick them out forward, and so if you got to actually get the shirts out of the way, but you can see that this one's higher now. Now, one way to, if you find out, let's say you find out there's a ½ inch difference, you would not correct the full ½ inch.
Right.
You would correct probably just half of that.
Right, 50%.
So I'm ½ inch higher on this side. We're going to put a ¼ inch on this side to correct it.
Right.
Does that make sense, Brad?
Yes.
All right, because that'll get you fairly close, but it won't correct it completely.
No, Bob, I think that's, if I'm short on, I'm tall on this leg.
Yeah, so you put it on this side.
Right.
Okay.
Had me thinking.
I caught Brad on that one.
Yep.
All right, how can you try this without expending a lot of money? First off, you can actually just take some paper towels, Brad.
Yeah.
Fold them up, and this one gets to about, this is probably 1/8 of an inch. You'd probably have to do another paper towel to make a ¼ of an inch.
You could cut cardboard, anything that'll fit in your shoe.
Carpet. We got some foam here.
Yep, this is actually some nice material.
Yeah. You can just slip it in your shoe, and then stand up, and then you can kind of remeasure. You might have to have somebody with you looking at this to see if they're level. And if that kind of levels it out, then walk around with it for a day or two and see, does it make a difference in your pain?
Right.
You know, does it start to level out? A lot of times people will say, if it is a painful thing when you're walking, it tends to relieve it fairly quickly.
Sure, right.
So, then if you find out that it works, then you may want to get something more permanent. You can get a permanent heel cup, something you can get at one of the big box stores. If you go to their foot section, they'll often have these little inserts you can put in your shoe.
Right. This leg length thing is kind of a touchy one, and it's kind of, you know, they might want to go to a therapist and have it really looked at by a professional, but you can experiment, and if you have anything negative happen, if you put it in and it starts hurting worse, definitely.
Right, exactly, and that's why we felt comfortable in doing this, because people can try this. you know what, if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. It's not like we're doing surgery here, Brad. So, so all right, good luck to you. If you haven't subscribed already, we want to recommend that you do, because we're going to provide you information on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and
strong like bull.
There we go. Thanks a lot.